Oh, hey. Today we are actually reacting to llama and arts. Wait. What you got on? Where's my glasses? Put them on. Waggle, waggle, waggle. No. Yes. Maybe. I just have my eyes. By the way. Ow. I'm gonna use glasses, guys. By the way, we are reacting to Lamar's Sand and ads. Horror.
It was November of 2006. I was a 16-year-old kid living in the town of Altoona, Iowa. I went to bed early one night because I had to work the early shift at McDonald's. As I slept, I had a dream that I was running through downtown Des Moines, but I wasn't on a jog. I was running from something. As I ran around the corner of a building, I came face to face with my pursuer. A tall man wearing a trench coat and a top hat stood in front of me. The only thing visible of his face was his eyes. They were abnormally large with black pupils, and it looked at me as if it wanted something. After what felt like hours, he reached out his bony hand, as if he wanted me to go with him. I woke up violently from my dream, and after catching my breath, I peered around my room to see if I was safe. As I stood up from my bed, I noticed that I could see my breath. Feeling confused, I checked my window. It was latched shut. I then walked over and checked my vent. I could still feel warm air coming from it. As I sat back down on my bed, I tried to figure out what exactly was going on.
In the closet.
That's when the figure
I found
from
it in
my
the closet.
dream appeared at the foot of my bed. I scrambled back to my
it just
headboard.
came out.
What do you want? I asked,
I
trying
gotta
to
put my
hide the
hoodie up and I'm
shakiness in my
scared.
voice. With the same bony finger, it pointed at me. Growing up in a religious home,
assassin.
I believed what I was looking at
No.
was a demon.
Oh,
The
no.
creature believed. It just pointed its finger at me with a low voice.
No.
It spoke to me.
These most folk. These glass eyes.
The creature then screamed loudly and disappeared. A feeling of nausea came over me, and I vomited on my floor. The last thing I remember was cleaning myself up and
What are you
waking up to
throwing?
my alarm.
What are you throwing up? Spiders?
It's been about a month since I had seen the top hat wearing man in my bedroom. The Christmas season was in full effect. My parents weren't home because they got invited to some kind of event. So it was only me and my 3 sisters at home. I had to wake up early in the morning for work, so I decided to go to sleep. I rested my head on my pillow and closed my eyes.
Everybody
Not
does
even 30
that.
seconds passed until my sisters burst into my room and started singing obnoxious songs. This, of course, made me very angry, but I thought if I ignored them that they would leave me alone. This was not the case. As I pulled the blankets over my head, I started to feel the same cold feeling that I had in November. As the obnoxious singing subsided, I lowered the blanket below my eyes and saw the man standing in the corner of my room. In one swift motion, he charged towards me.
Oh my
I
god.
blacked out. When I finally came to, I found that my sisters had locked themselves inside the bathroom. As I knocked on the door, they told me to go away. I asked them what happened, and all they could say was Mom and Dad were on their way home. I looked down and saw that my hand was slightly bloody. Holes were in the bathroom door, and a broom was sticking out of the wall. I then walked into the living room and found that there were knives stuck into the wall as well.
Oh my god.
The same wave of nausea passed over me, just like in November, and I threw up again. As I was cleaning
So you
up, my
throw
parents
up
walked through the
spiders
door.
again.
My father immediately walked over to me and gave me a good beating. Then he sent me to my room.
Wow, some
I
beating.
went to bed crying. Not from
This.
the beating.
Oh,
I
that
was
did
crying
actually
because of
hurt.
the confusion. I had no idea what was going on. The next morning, my sisters reluctantly sat next to me and told me what had happened. They said I got angry, chased them down, and tried to hurt them. They said my eyes were red to the point where they thought I was bleeding from them. They said I sounded like a different person. In 2011, that was the last time I saw the top hat wearing man.
2011.
I just moved
Dang,
into
so
a
how
new
much years
apartment.
did that
After
happen?
a long, stressful day of unpacking, I took a shower and got ready for bed. As I started to drift off, I could feel that cold feeling again. I lifted my head and saw the
God.
man standing in front of me. The man's eyes were red now. With a low voice, just like on that November night, it looked at me and said,
Wait,
"Never leave."
just. Oh my God. Yeah.
Always here.
Always here. And I'm gonna get a little bit spooked out. I'm getting really
New challenge.
sleepy.
Try to bend every finger without your pinky.
I can do that.
It's actually
crap.
kind of difficult.
Oh, yeah. Okay, bye. Dang. It's easy.
This happened when I was
Wait.
17 years old. I would go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week and ride the bus home. It was a Sunday and I had just missed my bus, so I had to wait longer for another one. I would have called my parents, but they were out for the evening, and taxis charged more, so I decided to sit and wait in the bus shelter. It was a cold night, and snow had just started peppering the ground. My bus was taking longer than usual, so I got my phone out and listened to some music. Almost
Why
an hour
music
had
gonna help
passed.
you?
It was freezing and I
It's
hadn't
gonna
seen
help
anyone at
kill
all.
people.
That was until I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. It was a creepy guy dressed in thick layers of clothing, walking slowly towards me. I knew staring at him would draw more attention, so I just focused on my phone. He sat down at the other end of the shelter and just stared at me. There was something off about him. He seemed like he was either drunk or on drugs. He then asked, "When is the bus due?" I took out my earphones and said, "I think it's delayed because of the snow." He stared at me for a while, then started mumbling to himself. He was really starting to creep me out, so I pretended to be on my phone. After a couple of minutes, I took another look. He'd moved closer to me. I looked away for a second, then heard the sound of him sliding even closer. I turned to him and said, "You okay there?" He stared at me with glossy eyes, lifted his arm and leaned towards me. Immediately, I grabbed my bag and ran as he fell to the ground. I ran down the road, trying my hardest not to look back. I kept going until I got to the next bus stop. I turned around to check to see if he was there. He was gone, so I went to sit down. Feeling relieved, I rested my head on the back of the glass and waited for the bus. I jolted and turned around to see the same guy staring at me through the glass. "What the hell is wrong with you?" Then he started walking around the shelter towards me. "I'm warning you, stay back!" I yelled in panic as I was backing up. I wanted to run, but I left my bag in the shelter and I couldn't leave without it. Suddenly, the man leaped at me and I quickly moved out of the way. He fell to the ground face first. I froze in shock, then noticed the blood coming from his face. I tried to get a response out of him, but nothing worked. I called the police and paramedics and they arrived shortly after. I told them what had happened and they told me that the guy was on prescription drugs. They found a photo in his wallet of him and his son. The boy looked just like me, so we assumed he thought I was him. I later learned that he had lost his son in a custody battle and went off the rails. He was taken away for treatment. That was the last I saw of him. I got my driver's license shortly after, and have never been on a bus since.
Okay. That's so creepy. Okay, well, we'll grab that merch. By the way, guys, I don't have no merch, so get on with the other video.
It was 2 years ago. I was called in to do the night shift, 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. at 7-Eleven, since somebody called out. The store was located on a busy road in a rather quiet and rural area. During the night shift, you could expect anywhere from 10 to 20 people come in to buy a beer or something else. This one particular night, there was this one guy, mid-20s, that came in. He started making weird noises, like loud yelling noises. I assumed he had some kind of mental disability. In fact, my brother has a mental disability, so I immediately felt sympathy for the guy. He walked up to the counter without any items, with his head facing me, but his eyes were looking up at the ceiling. I felt uncomfortable. I honestly didn't know how to deal with it. I tried speaking with him, but he only responded in loud noises. I kept checking if he was with someone outside, but he was alone. There weren't any cars in the parking lot, so I assumed he walked. He stood there for so long, looking up at the ceiling and making noises, that I tried to get him out by handing him a bag of chips and telling him he can go. I tried finding some kind of number to call for someone to help him.
Call
Then, out
911.
of nowhere, he finally turned around and walked out of the store. I felt so horrible for the man.
And I
At the
feel
same
so
time,
twinkly
I felt a bit
now.
creeped out. About an hour later, the phone on the counter rang. I picked up to hear the familiar yelling sounds of the man from earlier. It caught me
Whoa,
off guard. I didn't
that
know
is
what to
just
think,
not normal.
other than this has to be some kind of prank. I hung up on them and was now becoming paranoid of my surroundings, constantly checking the outside through the windows.
No one
Come
so
4
freaked
o'clock,
out.
the person working after me came in, finally allowing for me to go home. It wasn't my problem anymore.
Movies.
I got home and threw all my stuff on the table, ready to get to sleep. But my phone rang within a minute after entering the door. I felt a chill run down my spine.
My God.
Why would someone be calling at 4
It's the same
a.m.?
person.
I could only imagine it was bad
It's
news.
gotta be same.
I braced myself and picked up the phone to hear the man again. I felt sick to my stomach as I listened to the loud noises he made. I struggled to slam the phone to the receiver. All night, I felt like I was being watched, even with all the blinds shut. And I could swear I heard strange noises coming from all over my house. I refused to get any sleep until the sun came up. Weeks passed and I had forgotten about the incident, until one day, when going into the basement for the first time in a while, I found that
He's in the
papers had been
closet.
scattered all over the floor, and when I went into the basement closet, I found writing on the walls. 7-Eleven had been written in Sharpie on the wall, along with the address to the 7-Eleven I worked at and my house address. The most disturbing part, I also found various kitchen knives, along with a large pocket knife sitting in the closet. What started out as seemingly just an innocent person turning into something of a prank ultimately turned into something much more horrifying. He had been living down there for God knows how long, and I'm just grateful that, for whatever reason, he changed his mind and left, because I haven't seen or heard from him since. All I can say is that man is dangerously ill.
Okay, guys, that will be all for the video. Leave some comments. Yeah. I can react to more stuff. Yeah. And okay, I guess I will end. But for real, guys. Bye. Chill out and peace out. Bye.